This is your last chance, Danielle. My mom pushed the legal documents toward me while everyone watched. It was Thanksgiving. We were supposed to be grateful, together, a family. Instead, I was being cornered. Sign the house over or find somewhere else to live. My name is Danielle Harper. I'm 34 years old. I work as a hospice nurse, which means I spend my days helping people through the hardest moments of their lives. It's emotionally exhausting, and the pay isn't great, but it matters. It feels real in a way most jobs don't. My family has always called me the dependable one. I'm the person who shows up. I'm the one who handled the hospital visits when Dad got sick. I'm the one who sat with him during his final months, holding his hand when the pain got too much, making sure he wasn't alone. After he died, I stayed in the family home to take care of my mom. I didn't have a partner or kids pulling me somewhere else. My savings were small, but I didn't need much. I thought staying close meant I was being loyal. My siblings saw it differently. To them, I was stuck, unambitious. They had corporate jobs, nice cars, big houses in the suburbs. I had scrubs and a 20-minute commute. I was grieving my father and burning out from caregiving, but I kept going because I thought it mattered. I thought they saw it, but they didn't. They just saw someone who hadn't moved on. What they didn't know was that I had something they never expected. I wasn't rich or glamorous, but I had something far more valuable. I had patience. I had observation. I had the kind of quiet strength you only get from watching people face the end of their lives with dignity. And most importantly, I had the truth on my side. If you've ever been the one holding the family together while everyone else chased their own lives, you know what I'm talking about. You know what it's like to be invisible until they need something. Did they appreciate you, or did they just expect you to keep showing up? If that sounds familiar, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And before we keep going, click hype if you've ever felt like the one person no one bothered to thank. It was our first Thanksgiving without Dad. I spent the entire morning in the kitchen, cooking the turkey, mashing the potatoes, making his favorite stuffing the way he always liked it. My brother showed up an hour late with store-bought rolls. My sister arrived even later with nothing but excuses. Traffic was crazy, she said, not even looking at me. We sat down to eat, and within 10 minutes, my sister started in on me. "So, Danielle, still playing nurse instead of building a real life?" She laughed like it was a joke, but her tone made it clear it wasn't. My brother smirked into his wine glass. I didn't respond. I'd learned a long time ago that defending myself just made it worse. Then my mom cleared her throat. "I need everyone to listen," she said. The table went quiet. She reached into a folder beside her chair and pulled out a stack of legal documents. My stomach dropped. "I've made a decision about the house," she said. She placed the papers on the table in front of me. "Your brother and sister have families. They need this more than you do. I'm signing the house over to them." I stared at her. "What?" "You'll get a small buyout," she continued, like I hadn't spoken. "It's fair. You've lived here long enough rent-free. It's time you moved on." I felt the air leave my lungs. My sister leaned back in her chair, arms crossed, looking satisfied. My brother wouldn't even meet my eyes. "Dad promised me I could stay," I said, my voice barely above a whisper. "Dad's gone," my mom said flatly, "and I'm making the decisions now." She slid the papers closer. "If you refuse to sign, you'll need to be out in 60 days. I looked around the table. No one said a word. No one defended me. My mom's lawyer's name was printed at the bottom of the document. "Mr. Callahan will finalize everything on Monday," she added. That was it. My home, my security, everything Dad had promised me. Gone. The next few days were a nightmare. I found out through a group chat that my brother and sister had already been touring real estate agents. They were talking about selling the house before the transfer was even complete. They discussed my belongings like I was already gone. "We'll need to clear out the upstairs," my sister texted to my brother. "Danielle's stuff is going to be a storage issue." I felt sick reading it. Then, at a church memorial for my dad, my sister stood up and gave a speech. She thanked herself for handling all the estate stress and making sure everything was taken care of. She didn't mention me once. I had been the one sitting with Dad in the hospital. I had been the one organizing his medications, his appointments, his final wishes, and she erased me like I'd never been there. Later that week, my mom pulled me aside. "If you loved me, you'd make this easy," she said. Her voice was quiet but sharp. "Don't make this harder than it has to be, Danielle. You're being selfish." I stared at her, stunned. Selfish? For wanting a place to live? For wanting the security my father had promised me? That's when something inside me shifted. I stopped pleading. I stopped trying to explain. I started documenting everything instead. I saved the group chat messages. I recorded our conversations when I could. I started noticing things. The timeline felt wrong, too rushed, too coordinated. And there were inconsistencies in what my mom was saying about Dad's will. She kept changing small details, like she was trying to remember a script someone else had written for her. The more I paid attention, the more I realized something wasn't adding up. This wasn't just about the house. This was a plan, and they'd been working on it for a while. I just needed to figure out how long and how deep it went. What they didn't know was that I'd already seen something they hadn't. Months earlier, while I was organizing Dad's medical paperwork, I found financial files that didn't belong in that folder. Bank statements, email printouts, notes in Dad's handwriting. He'd been worried. He told me once quietly that my siblings were putting pressure on him. "They want me to change things," he'd said, "but I won't." I didn't think much of it at the time, but after Thanksgiving, I went back to those files. I requested copies of legal documents from Dad's attorney. I dug deeper, and I found them. Email chains between my brother and sister pressuring my mom to alter the estate distribution. Email sent while Dad was still sick, barely able to respond. And then I found the voicemail. Dad had left it on my phone 6 weeks before he died. I saved it because I wanted to hear his voice again. But when I listened this time, I heard it differently. "Danielle, no matter what happens, you have a right to stay in that house. I made sure of it. Don't let them tell you otherwise." He knew. He knew they'd try this. I had recordings, I had emails, I had document drafts showing their plan. I had everything I needed. And I said nothing. I just waited. I watched them get comfortable. I watched them make plans. I let them think they'd already won, because I had a plan they never saw coming. I reached out to my cousin Rachel. She was the family black sheep, the one who'd been estranged years ago after refusing to get involved in their business schemes. She worked as a paralegal now and understood estate law better than anyone I knew. I trusted her. When I told her what was happening, she didn't hesitate. "Send me everything," she said. I did. She reviewed it all and called me back the next day. "Danielle, this timeline is legally suspicious. If your dad's will explicitly granted you residency rights, they can't just override that." She helped me organize everything into a formal dispute file. We labeled everything. We highlighted the contradictions. We built a case. Meanwhile, my siblings got more arrogant. They started talking about renovations before the transfer was even finalized. My sister referred to my bedroom as the nursery in a text to my brother. She sent paint swatches. My mom stopped speaking to me entirely, except for short, cold messages. "The lawyer is ready when you are." I didn't respond. I just kept gathering evidence. Rachel was already a step ahead. She contacted the family lawyer, Mr. Callahan, and quietly requested a formal review meeting. She didn't tell them why. She just said there were documents that needed to be addressed before anything could proceed. The meeting was scheduled for the following Monday at 10 a.m. My siblings thought it was just a formality. They thought I'd finally caved. They had no idea what was coming. And I knew exactly what I was going to do. The meeting was set for the following Monday at 10 a.m. I walked into Mr. Callahan's office with Rachel beside me. My siblings were already there, sitting back in their chairs like they'd already won. My mom sat at the head of the table, her face unreadable. "Glad you could make it, Danielle," my sister said, her voice dripping with fake sweetness. I didn't respond. I just sat down and placed my folder on the table. Mr. Callahan adjusted his glasses and looked at the papers in front of him. Before we proceed with the signing, there are some documents that must be reviewed. My brother frowned. What documents? Mr. Callahan opened a folder. My heart pounded, but I kept my face calm. He pulled out the first page. "This is your father's original will," he said. "It explicitly grants Danielle lifetime residency to the family home." The room went silent. My sister's mouth opened, but no sound came out. "Additionally," he continued, "there is an addendum stating that the house cannot be sold or transferred without her written consent." My brother leaned forward. "That can't be right." Mr. Callahan placed another document on the table. "These are email exchanges between the two of you, dated during your father's illness, in which you